Christopher Nolan, a name a few of you may recognize, is one of the most audacious film directors working in the film industry today. He's most well known for producing his Hollywood blockbuster films with complex and non-linear storytelling. A couple of famous Nolan films you might know are Inception, The Prestige, Interstellar, Memento, and the Dark Knight trilogy. Along with creating storylines in non-conformist manners, he's also known for being one of the biggest modern filmmakers that actively try to stick to old-fashioned filmmaking tactics. Nolan prides himself on the utilization of 70mm film, minimal CGI usage, and making his films as realistic and theatrical as possible.
Chris is really great in that he wants it for real. He wants it in camera. He doesn't want to do CG.
An example of this is in one of his films called Tenet. In this scene, a Boeing 747 plane crashes into a building and sets it on fire. Believe it or not, Nolan refused to CGI animate the scene since he believed it would be more immersive if it was real. So what you're seeing is an entirely real plane crashing into a building. $20 million down the drain for a 60-second clip. That's dedication. And lots of budget. There are countless other examples where Nolan's filmed scenes in real life that could have been CGI animated. In this video, we'll be analyzing two of Nolan's famous films, Interstellar and The Prestige, and how its themes play into his style of filmmaking. Interstellar is a sci-fi film set in a dystopian future where Earth becomes uninhabitable, so as a result NASA has a plan to save mankind by transporting Earth's remaining population into a new planet via a wormhole. So former NASA pilot Cooper is forced to leave his daughter behind on Earth to join the team of researchers to be sent through the wormhole and across the galaxy in search of a new planet that could potentially be humanity's new home. Interstellar is a film that is relevant to today's world, as it brings awareness to a future where mankind destroys the Earth.
We used to look up in the sky and wonder at our place in the stars. Now we just look down and worry about our place in the dirt.
This scene here encapsulates Nolan's view of a future in which the spirit of space exploration dies, along with a starving planet. While on the surface, the story seems to focus on space exploration and a dystopian future, Nolan believes that the heart of the film is really expressing the relationship between father and daughter, and about the connection of love between humans. Prominent themes throughout the course of the film include cosmic realities of time, space, and gravity, while corresponding with virtues of faith, hope, and love. The virtue of faith is challenged when the characters constantly bring up they, and I'm not talking about the pronouns.
A wormhole's not a naturally occurring phenomenon.
Someone placed it there.
They?
And whoever they are, they appear to be looking out for us.
The scientists believe that whoever they are, their creators watching over them. To testify faith more, Nolan makes the characters interpret the appearance of a wormhole as fate rather than coincidence. Hope is also explored through the characters. Despite the Earth being doomed, Cooper's hope drives him to find a planet to help save mankind and most importantly see his daughter again.
We'll find a way, Professor, we always have.
Finally, there's the virtue of love, which Nolan makes sure dominates the film's themes. We all know that gravity is able to cut through both time and space. However, love is a virtue that rises above and cuts through all else, molding the universe together.
Love is the one thing we're capable of perceiving that transcends dimensions of time and space.
Nolan wants to convey to us that love is a key to human existence that binds all together. Near the end of the film, Cooper slips inside of a black hole and falls beyond the event horizon. There, he finds himself trapped in between the fourth dimension, a tesseract, and the fifth dimension, time. We see that love prevails, where Cooper is able to reach his daughter in the tesseract, portraying that even if he's in another dimension, the relationship of love between he and his daughter is unbreakable.
I'm gonna find a way to tell Murph, just like I found this moment.
How?
The love tars love. It's just like Brand said. My connection with Murph, it is quantifiable. It's the key.
Jumping back to Nolan's filmmaking technique, this part of the film builds tension by exploring fractured timelines and cross-cutting between Cooper in space and Murph on Earth. Hey, that kind of rhymes. At the start of the film, we see Murph as a kid showing her father a Morse code message translated as stay.
One word. You know what it is? Stay. It says, stay, Dad.
But Cooper ignores her, and ends up leaving her to travel the galaxies anyway. When Cooper in the black hole realizes he's able to interact with Murph through space-time, he tries to communicate with her child self by leaving a Morse code message. We realize the entire time that the messages Murph has been receiving as a kid were actually from Cooper in the future. During the scene, Nolan uses a clever parallel cutting technique where we switch constantly between three timelines, where Murph is a child, where Cooper is communicating through the tesseract, and where Murph is an adult communicating back. This scene is what had made Interstellar receive so much praise, and what had trademarked the beginning of Nolan's complex filmmaking style. Nolan's film Interstellar challenges the audience to reflect on a bigger reality than the movie itself. He uses the movie to express his beliefs on human self-sacrifice, hope, and love. He combines classic storytelling with bold narrative choices, beautiful space cinematics, thought-provoking themes, and atmospheric soundtracks produced by Hans Zimmer himself. And even though I spoiled it, you should still watch it. Now that we're done with the cheesy stuff, let's talk about murder, suicide, and deception. While Interstellar expresses more of Nolan's optimistic perspective on the world, The Prestige exposes a more bold and darker perspective, revealing humanity's side of lust for greed and power. The Prestige follows two rival stage magicians, Robert Angier and Alfred Borden, as the two engage in an ongoing battle to create the ultimate illusion while sacrificing everything they have just to outwit each other.
What is going on under that stage? Huh? Why can't you outthink him?
The opening scene is one of the most overlooked directing masterpieces in the film. In just a 3-minute opening, Nolan reveals to us the entire plot of the story by cross-cutting between foreshadowing future scenes and a voiceover narration. In the voiceover, Cutter, Angier's mentor, explains the 3 stages of a magic trick: the pledge, which is taking something ordinary, and the turn, which is turning that ordinary something into something extraordinary. But of course,
making something disappear isn't enough. You have to bring it back.
And that's when the 3rd stage comes in, the Prestige. Behind the title is a shot with several hats scattered around the forest with a voiceover asking,
"Are you watching closely?"
The message is subtle, but there. The hats themselves are a prestige to Angier's final trick, which you will discover later on in the movie. Now cutting to the start of the film, we see Angier and Borden performing a water tank trick when Angier's wife, Julia, fails to escape the water tank and drowns. Angier accuses Borden of tying the wrong knot, thus beginning their rivalry.
Which knot did you tie? I'm sorry, I just don't know. You don't know?
Each starts a magic career of their own, fueled by competition and revenge as they sabotage each other's acts. Each sabotage gradually increases in its severity level, starting from losing 2 fingers in a sabotage bullet catch trick to being framed for murder and losing a loved one to suicide. From the beginning, Nolan establishes parallel storylines between Borden in prison and Angier reading his diary. He layers the 2 scenes together even though they occur at different moments in time. In doing so, both the magicians try to discover the other's method, just as Nolan reveals his own. As the story takes twists and turns, Nolan also takes the audience on a similar trip with his creative editing and innovative structuring. The transported man is the main illusion the 2 magicians feud over throughout the movie, which is as simple as one man being transported to the other end of the stage. While Borden pulls off the trick first, his presentation lacks. This makes Angier desperate to know how he did it.
Why, how does he do it?
He uses a double.
No. It's too simple. This is a complex illusion.
You only say that because you don't know the method. It's a double that comes out at the end. It's the only way.
I've seen him perform the trick 3 times now, Mr. Carter. The Prestige is the same man.
He knew that if he could find out the true secret to Borden's trick, his showmanship and presentation skills would outshine his performance by a mile. Using these 2 characters, themes of self-sacrifice, deception, and greed are heavily explored. These 2 men have devoted their lives to deception, and have become so good at it that they're able to deceive themselves. Angier's obsession with deception had eventually eaten him alive and had alienated himself from everyone. He becomes so obsessed with trying to figure out the transported man that he destroys relationships with everyone around him.
I sent you to steal his secret, not to improve his act.
That's my job.
Or to fall in love with him.
I did everything you asked.
Yes? Then how does he do it?
After his wife's death, his strong desire for vengeance and success had led him to go into the extremes, like putting an innocent man on death row
Angier! They're gonna bloody hang me!
and taking custody of his daughter.
What have you done? Well, she needs looking after. She needs a father.
All for the sake of figuring out the secret to a trick.
If you understand an obsession, then you know you won't change my mind.
While you could say Borden was less of an ass, he was still equally as obsessed. His obsession with magic had cost him to live half a life. Literally. At the end, spoiler alert by the way, it is revealed that Borden had an identical twin the entire time, meaning that the transported man really was just as simple as a stunt double. Except it wasn't that simple, because the deception doesn't just end at the trick. It took over their life outside of magic.
I can't live like this. Oh, well, you think I can live like this? You think I'd bloody enjoy living like this?
Both twins were sharing each half of one life. When Borden 1's fingers were shot off by the sabotage at the start, in order to keep their secret concealed, Borden 2 had chopped off the same fingers. And when one went in the box, the other was out. The Bordens chose to hide the secret that they were twins sharing one life. While it was okay for them to date one person each, both women suffered at their hands emotionally. Olivia, the partner of one twin, was smart enough to walk away. However, Sarah, the wife of the other twin, was pushed to suicide. Nolan uses this film to express what he believes in. Rather than communicating to us how he views the world, this film lays out how he views himself and his own work. When the film poses the question, how close can you get to something real before it harms you, it ties in with Nolan's views. As a director with passion for realism, it strikes a potent question to himself. How real can Nolan's films be before it's too dangerous? I mean, I wouldn't put the idea past him. We have seen him crash a $20 million plane for the sake of a 1-minute clip, just to look realistic. Nolan's film The Prestige leaves the audience guessing and gasping at its twists, with a pretty damn brilliant script, labyrinth plots, thought-provoking narration, and unique cinematography. While the chronology is still intertwined, the storytelling is about having the perfect balance between a story of revenge and the means to achieve it. And by the time you're finished watching the movie, you'll be asking yourself the question, how far is too far? Both of these Nolan films play with the concept of time, whether on actual space-time like in Interstellar or back-and-forth timelines like in The Prestige. Interstellar is a hopeful film that challenges your perspective on the world and the importance of human love. It also focuses on self-sacrifice, which in this case is the sacrifice of oneself for the survival of humanity. The Prestige, on the other hand, is a darker film that makes you reflect on humanity's greed and selfishness, the concept of deception, and whether or not things may appear as they seem. While it also focuses on self-sacrifice, it concentrates on a different aspect of it: self-sacrifice of your own identity in exchange for success and power. Both messages are conveyed by Nolan's style of non-linear storytelling, dialogue, and cinematography, which is what makes his film so unique and distinct. He isn't afraid to explore existential themes in his own style, themes like human morality, greed, the nature of time, and identity. The characters portrayed in each of his films are often emotionally disturbed, obsessive, morally ambiguous, or facing the fears of loneliness, guilt, jealousy, and most importantly, greed.